The Bee Bettina Show.
Bee Bettina.
Yeah.
The bee, it's her. She's the bee.
And I'm Bettina.
She's the queen bee.
And this is my buddy, JC, who's going to help me out tonight again with my show. And he's so amazing fun. We're going to have fun talking about, guess what tonight? We're going to talk about fashion for New Year's Eve,
yes.
Throughout the ages.
Yes.
So we want to talk to you about the best formal wear in the world, which is American,
yes.
of course. Well,
yes.
okay, French and Italian, but American right there too. And my talk tonight is going to be one by one, all the different eras. And we're going to be inspired, I'm sure, by talking about the movies, pictures we saw from the movies and dresses, from gowns,
from the movies.
Political leaders and what they wore over the eras, the news, and celebrities, the technological changes that caused us to have new fashion for the different holidays, social changes. We're going to talk a little about everything, economic changes. So without further ado, let's start with the early.
But before we start, you might want to slam that door shut.
We'll go to the early 1900s. The 1900s to the 1920s.
Okay.
Right. This is what they're looking at. So
yes.
The styles then were very high-waisted and barrel-like in the dress. It wasn't really that attractive in a way, but I mean, it was attractive in its own way. But
during its time, it was attractive.
Yes, it was very attractive. And
back then.
It's just that, in the 1920s, as we got to the 20s, we started to get Coco Chanel and a complete radical change. And it got into the flapper era where the waistline wasn't way up high anymore. It went down to your hip.
And mini skirts.
And the skirts came up to the knee,
yes.
right? We got shorter skirts. So the flapper era, that was beautiful. And I think, it goes without saying that the 20s changed everything completely from the early, the 1900s in the beginning.
Yes, and if I can interject, it went with the Charleston dance back in the day.
Think Great Gatsby.
Oh yes,
Think Jewels. Think, that's how we got the sequins.
Now
that's
I feel
how
like
we got
watching The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh God, the new one, the good one.
Yes.
I know, I love the new. Well,
yes.
Rubber wasn't that bad either, but
yes.
At any rate, saw the
dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that's the 1920s.
You should dance it a little for us. JC, get up.
I've done.
Get up.
Dun,
Here
dun,
he goes.
Dun, 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 dun,
There he goes.
dun, 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 dun. Okay.
Woo! Great. Okay, so I love the styles, the shorter skirts. They showed their knees. Women bound their breasts because big boobs were out. They were not in fashion anymore, which is amazing because now they're in for quite a while. They've been in, but it was not fashionable to have a big bust. It was a pain in the backside. They had to bind themselves and make themselves as flat because the sign of class and savoir-faire was when your pearls could lay straight and they wouldn't swoosh. When your pearls would lay really straight and you had the flat chest, you were the popular looking figure back then. So, it all goes to say everybody has their era.
Yes,
everybody has their era. No matter what your
1920s was
personal.
Really awesome.
Okay, now we're getting into the 30s, right?
Yes.
Great. Our next picture is of Claudette Colbert. There's so many beautiful 30s, but I had to pick one, so I went with Claudette.
Yes.
Look at this beautiful gown.
Yes, that's beautiful.
We're looking at what you're looking at behind us. I just love this dress. This to me is drama.
I'm very partial to black evening gowns. I know Anna Winter said no head to toe black. The queen has spoken. But we love black.
Oh, I love black.
Yeah,
I love black
but
too. It's just so pretty. And Claudette Colbert, she was very beautiful. She had dainty features, and the hair was short. And in the flapper era, they cut their hair, they bobbed their hair.
Yes.
And so the 30s, it was even shorter. It went curly. They were curly and short, tight curls.
And wavy. It had that wave to it.
Interesting waves.
Yeah, the close to the head kind of wave.
Right. Right. And the 30s, that was a very decadent and beautiful era. we were getting close to the wartime though, the 1940s. Oh, yes, 1940s with the wartime, it was a very unusual situation because suddenly fabric was scarce. Yes. You couldn't. They were so poor the nation. We couldn't afford fabric, so most people did not have a brand new gown for a few years. A lot of years they had to revamp old ones. They had to learn to sew. They had to do without, and it was a little sad, until 1946 when Christian Dior came along. Yeah. Christian Dior invented the new look. Yes. He came out with a new look, and it was the hourglass shape. And so it was the 40s, by the way. Our picture from the 1940s is really gorgeous, like Greta Garbo. Who's that? Greta Garbo. I don't know, but that was a beautiful gown. The new look for Christian Dior had, and it was an hourglass shape. And everything changed from there. And it was glamorous fabrics again. Yeah, the most iconic fashion photograph in the entire world. The new look of Christian Dior. I would think so. Yes, I would think so because Balenciaga kind of brought it forward, and then Christian Dior jumped. And he made it happen. Yeah, yeah, because American fashion. Anyway, he was very revolutionary. Exactly. Coming from the wartime when it was so sparse, it was just a breath of fresh air. Yeah. People needed Paris that. Took over. People needed that. But Christian Dior was an American designer, and we're very proud that he did come about. And he did, his house still goes strong. Still today. Yes. Still considered one of the best. Christian Dior is French. But he was an American fashion designer. No, he's French. He is French. Oh, excuse me. Yes, he is French. Oh, okay. I thought he was doing it in America though. It was Worth that was American. Oh. No, he's always been in Paris, Christian Dior. That's where his Pardon me. I stand corrected. Yeah. And Yves Saint Laurent was his assistant. That's why I brought JC, because he's really good at fashion history. I'm really glad to hear. So sorry. Pardon me. Yeah, pardonnez-moi. At any rate. Okay, then we go to the 1950s. 50s, yeah. Yay! And the 50s, think of, all the movies, Sabrina, tight waist, goofy skirts, mid-calf, very, lots of chiffon, lots of bustle, lots of very pretty demure, kind of innocence, lots of eyelashes, like the false eyelashes, white skin, little short curly hair, very pretty and very demure. Yes. I would say innocence. We love that. It was like Happy Days, the era of the poodle skirt. And they considered that someone of the most... The Happy Days in Greece, let's not forget Greece. Oh, right, Greece. Because it was glorified in that movie. It really was. We go together like ram lam 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 kitty kitty boom be boom. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Dance that one too. No. Come on, get up. I can't, there's no space. Come on, let's go. I need space. Okay, next time we'll do some dance ahead of time. Yes. We'll get him on camera. The two of us have to dance. Oh, God. Okay, fine. Well, maybe. I'm not going to promise anything. Yeah. Anyhow, so then we go to the 1960s. And the 1960s... Twiggy. There's so many ways you could interpret the 60s because Mary Quant came along and she focused on the young people and short mini skirts, and she really focused on the young. The picture I have, I don't know if she has this picture, but I don't know. It's hard to pick a picture because the 60s went so many different directions. It was the sexual revolution. It was. Suddenly you didn't have to, have a baby, like they had birth control and people didn't have to have a child. So there was more liberation and people were free to be more sexual in their dressing. I want to add the 60s is when Courrèges, the French designer, came about, and his line was very space age. Yeah. Very space age, very sparse looking, very stark. And really, but always like 70s cut open. Oh yeah, the cutouts. I love that. The mod, and they called it the mod era. That was going into the 70s was the mod. Yeah. But mod, very, very cool. And that's why you notice clean. Even in the Sabrina, the witch, she wore some of those outfits too. I remember. Oh. Yeah. I was thinking.
Sorry, my allergies.
Okay. Oh, are you all right?
Yes, I am.
Very good. Well, at any rate, the 60s were revolutionary, and everybody remembers the 60s.
I was born in 67.
Oh gosh, I was born in, I'm not telling, but
she's not telling, but
I was there, let's put it that way.
Yes.
At any rate, they had the dark eyelashes there too, and lots of the young really led in fashion. I think it was
so when
fresh.
did Raquel Welch did the dawning of the age of Aquarius?
Good.
When did she do that? This is the dawning of that video was very sexual. I saw it a few days ago.
I don't even remember seeing that.
Oh my
But I loved
gosh.
Raquel Welch. I loved Raquel Welch.
The eyeliners.
Yeah, a lot of black eyeliner. Very nice. Pussycat eyes, pussycat glasses.
Oh my
gosh,
well,
that was
no
one of the
pun
50s.
intended.
I wanted to acknowledge my viewers. I want to thank you all, by the way, for
Chanel.
I wanted to for coming on.
She's
and
asking
watching
us to look at the phone.
Show.
So let's say hi to Chanel.
Hey Chanel.
Yes.
Chanel R, my buddy, who's my great model friend,
Chanel.
and she's really an amazing promoter and fashion icon here in Las Vegas. She is sort of like a pinup girl herself.
Oh my gosh. Does she
embodied.
Do you do burlesque, Chanel?
I don't think she does, but you know, she does photography. She does a lot of modeling, so she does all kinds, and she's done a lot of beautiful modeling for a lot of years, including the sexiest stuff in the world. Beautiful. Yeah. And
Happy New Year, Chanel.
Who else is calling in?
It's Chanel. She's saying Happy New Year. So say Happy
Thanks,
New Year.
Happy New Year, Chanel. You're the best.
Oh, and there's another viewer.
Thanks for being my buddy and living with me for the holidays.
There's another
viewer
too.
It's been the best holidays of my life. We've had so much fun.
Yes.
We've been cooking.
Oh,
Scottish shortbread dipped in chocolate, and we've been today I made a torte.
Oh, torte. Oh,
that's got to use your leftover rice.
Nice. We have 2 minutes. Okay,
so the fashion, I would say the fashion is influenced by so many things. You know, the technological changes. Polyester came out in the 60s.
Oh my gosh.
In the 60s, 70s, and that changed everything. Like the next gown we're going to see for the 70s is a poly gown.
Is that Lauren Hutton? That looks like her.
All right, could be. I don't know.
Okay, we only have 2 minutes.
It is Lauren Hutton. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we have 1 minute.
Okay.
So now...
Are we on? No.
Yes, we're on, but we are going on a commercial break, and we will be back.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you in a bit.
See you in a bit.